Hello, everyone. This is Richard Eaton again, your CTEC 134 instructor. This is a continuation of the video series that I am creating to discuss creating databases and tables using SQL commands. In the prior video, we actually started creating an SQL script, and we entered some commands to create a database and then use the database. And then we started actually creating the commands to for our first table. Then I thought I needed to close that down because that was running pretty lengthy. And so what we're doing now is we're going to pick up where we left off. We finished that last video by saving the SQL script that we were working on. And now we're going to start this video by opening that script up. So up above, there's an open command, an open file button. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to navigate to where I saved it. I actually saved it on my flash drive. Let's see, in a temp directory, I put it in CTEC 134 assignments. I created a folder called week 2, and this is the SQL script that I've been working on, practice creating Acme services. So I'm going to open that, and here it is. If I just executed this right now by clicking the execute command, SQL Server will ignore these first few lines because those are comments, and it will try to execute create database Acme services, and it will fail there because that database already exists. And so I don't really want to run that command. So I think what I'm going to do is, for right now, comment it out by putting the cursor anywhere in that line and then clicking the comment button, and it put 2 dashes in the front. So if I ran this script now, it would ignore that line and it would start with use Acme services, which is fine. I don't need to comment that out. I can run that over and over and over again without a problem. What that says is that while there are a lot of databases in SQL Server, the one I want to use is Acme services, and so I don't want to have to refer to Acme services on all of my commands. So SQL Server will assume you mean Acme services once you run this command. I'll go ahead and run it all by itself. I don't want to click the execute button because I don't want it to start creating this table. I'm going to run the use Acme services all by itself, and it ran successfully. Now, the command we started to create our employees table was create table TBL employees. I made the create table part uppercase because those are SQL commands. And I made the TBL employees upper and lowercase letters because those are my own object names. And I prefixed the employee table with TBL because that's the naming convention that I want us to use. The script here, or SQL Server, ignores all spaces, so I could put these commands anywhere. I could make one big long line for this, although that would make it very cumbersome and difficult to read. So what I'm choosing to do is putting one column and its data type on a single line. So the syntax for the create table in TBL employees starts with the left parentheses right here, and then all the fields that I want to define, and it ends with a right parentheses here. So this parentheses matches this parentheses. But I need to continue my work on this table. So I think what I'm going to do is put in a comma here, and I'll just move that right parentheses down out of my way. What I want, before we move to the next field, I want to mention that the character data type will accept any kind of data, numbers, letters, special characters, anything. I could type in, for the employee number, I could type in 123, or I could type in ABC, or I could type in ABC 123, whatever. This specification here in uppercase letters says primary key, and that tells SQL Server that this will be a primary key, and you must ensure that the values I type in are all unique. The next line down, first name, notice I made it character 20. I just guessed at how long a first name might be. So I said, yeah, there probably wouldn't be more than 20, so I'll make it 20. If I find out later, after I've used this database for a while, that I come across a name that's 25 characters, I can alter the structure of this database and make that 20 and 25, and it won't do any damage to the database. It will just start allowing me to type more characters in for that first name field. The last name field, I guessed at about 20 also. So now I'm going to go down a line, and what we need now is a date of hire. So I'm going to type date of hire. And this is going to be a date data type, and I don't need any more parameters, just date. It's extremely important that when you have dates that you make them a date data type. Do not make them a character data type. The reason why you need to make it a data type is that internally, SQL Server actually stores that data as a pure number, just a whole integer number. It's actually the number of days that have expired from some starting period, like January 1, 1900, or whatever they decided the starting period was going to be. And by doing that, it allows us to actually do date arithmetic. We can subtract one date from another date, and or we could add, say, 65 years to a date and find out what retirement date might be. But for now, just know that you need to make dates a date data type. The next field is a pay rate. And that's clearly a numeric data type of some kind. And numbers are actually divided into two main categories: numbers that are whole numbers only, and numbers that are fractional, numbers that have a decimal in some positions to the right. A pay rate clearly is not going to be a whole number. It's going to be a fractional number. And you could use the decimal data type with a left parentheses and specify the length of the field. Like let's say we made it 10, 3, right parentheses. That says that the total length can be 10 long, with 7 positions to the left of the decimal and 3 positions to the right. As it turns out, there's another data type called money, or small money, which is really a better choice here. And if you want to know why it's a better choice, read the textbook, the Database Administration Fundamentals textbook, and it'll give you a better idea of why small money would probably be a better choice than decimal. But either one would work. The last field is going to be pay type. What I want this one for is say, is this pay rate a salary or an hourly rate? And so I might use the S for salary and H for hourly. And so I'm going to make a character data type with only a length of 1. That should do it. And I'm going to save this now. I'm going to save my query. If I click the execute button, it should work fine because I've commented out the create and the create database, and we can use this, we can run this use Acme services over and over and over again, so it should run fine. I've already run this by itself. I just said execute, and it said, oh, it was successful. I could run this command all by itself if I want to, by just highlighting it and saying execute it. And it said it completed that successfully. So let's open up Acme Services and see, and then open up tables. And sure enough, here's my employees database. At this point, we would want to insert some data. And we could insert data by simply using SSMS GUI interface by saying right click and edit top 200 rows, and we could just start typing in data. But that's not what I want to show you. What I want to show you is how to use the SQL insert command. So for now, make sure you save this. I'm going to close this and shut this video down, and then we're going to move on to inserting data in the next video. So stop the share.